And so we are now at game 29, thanks to the reminder again from Wisp, of our pirate game. The last we left our crew, they were at the Tavern of the Shattered Hand, the home of the local criminal syndicate, where they met a new travel companion who, after their initiation, they got horribly drunk with and decided to stagger on the way originally to the marketplace, despite it being closed for the night, and then towards the ship. Along the way, they spotted that they were being shadowed and turned to confront at least those that they saw, and were ambushed by a group of assassins that have admitted so far that they don't work for the local syndicate. And who I believe Silas suspects works for someone entirely different.
Did we keep one alive and bring him?
Yes, you did succeed in capturing one, killing most of the others and sending one running for the hills. You made it back to the ship. You tossed this prisoner in the brig, and then most of you went to bed. But if memory serves me right, Silas, you decided to opt to get knocked out by Mug. To cope with the fact that you'd been shot and you don't like the sight of blood.
Well, there was a bolt that needed retrieving from like my shoulder blade, and I wasn't going to see my own blood.
Fair cop on that. So you got carried back to the
It's pretty reasonable that you would get knocked out for that.
Yeah.
So you got tossed into the bed back on the ship so that you could be dealt with at an appropriate time, and Mug decided that, well, it's a comfy bed, no one else was using that side of it, they crawled in with you.
There was
Oh
space.
yeah, no one was using it because someone is not there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somewhere on the floor of the room that you're in is a letter that Mug yeeted into the ether because it was in his way.
Right, the letter.
Well, to be honest, you are lucky that I just about managed to roll a perception, because if I missed it, it would have been thrown on top of the letter.
Yep.
So, we will start with the fact that, Silas, you've woken up first and realized that you are in bed and that the person that your arms are draped around is a lot bigger and hairier than the person that you normally have them draped around.
So Silas just has his arm around her, he thinks, and then he feels like the hairy and the size, and it's just not correct. So does that. Let me see if I can find the gift that has his face in it.
What?
Like the gears start turning, and
Oh,
suddenly
okay.
he goes, huh? And he just sits straight up in bed, and then he sees Mug and he starts trying to push Mug out of the bed.
Is this what the mic check was about?
This mic check is actually, Silas, you realize that your left arm is actually underneath Mug. So you are going to be spending a bit of time not just pushing Mug to try and get him towards the edge of the bed, but to free your arm.
To get blood flow back in my left arm.
So I'm thinking Mug probably doesn't like to be woken up randomly, so he's probably resisting the being pushed away thing.
That makes sense. Try moving a sleeping human, let alone a sleeping dwarf.
Yes. So should we now roll might again?
Yeah, you can do another opposed might check as Mug resists and probably wakes up just enough and starts pushing back, going, "Leave me sleep."
Oh. Yeah, this roll is a bit different. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So okay. Sorry,
I don't think I'm going to get
counting
my
this
arm
out.
back anytime soon.
No, I think this is a 20, if I count this correctly.
That isn't.
So not only do you fail to actually free your arm, Mug actually rolls back further over
Ah, no!
and pins you firmly to the bed.
Can I've just been thrown onto the bed the night before, right? So I still have
Yep.
all my gear on.
Yep, you were
Mhm.
still
Yeah,
in all your
yep.
kit.
I pull out a pistol and shoot in the side wall, just like over Mug's head. Not aiming at Mug, specifically aiming not to shoot Mug, but just to have the loud pistol noise above him, because that might mean a fight and therefore might wake him up.
Pick
Oh,
a number
boy.
between 1 and 6.
6.
Are you sure that you are trying to wake him up in a fighting mode?
Yes, because I promised him a fight with the twins.
Oh,
And if my gear is here, so is my cask of mead. I might have enough to survive this.
So, Mug, you were definitely going to be wakened by a gunpowder shot right next to your head.
yeah, okay.
Silas, you hear from further up above you a scream and a shout.
Good morning.
Yeah, so as soon as Mug is up, what's going on? Who attacked me? Who the fuck are you? And probably punches.
That makes sense.
Should I roll an attack?
If you want to.
I'd assume that it hits.
Oh boy, yeah. I think it hits. But you're lucky. I didn't. I'm doing my normal form, and I didn't roll any stunt points. So you are very lucky. But I think this is definitely a hit.
Well, how much did you roll?
So okay, so in total this is 18.
Yeah, that hits.
Yeah. And then my normal. Okay, so yeah, I guess yeah, this is going to be some fist damage.
So the rest of you as well that are on board the ship, you have
Oh boy.
probably woken up to the sound of a gunshot coming from either down the corridors or nearby. And at least one scream up on deck.
I managed to roll maximum damage on this.
I imagine Haldir is just like looking up from wherever he fell asleep, also still like fully closed, and he just looks around like, where?
As Mug punches Silas, Silas will just like grumble a bit and then like, could you get off my arm, please?
What? Is that you, bastard? Huh. Oh,
My arm! I need my arm, please.
all right. Well, it was. You have a very comfortable bed, you know, and you're kind of comfortable as well. But I suppose there was a fight somewhere, right? I should get up and sort that out.
I think I heard the twins about a fight on the deck.
Oh, that must have been the shot. Well, I better go and find them. And
Yeah,
Mug gets up
you should.
to find the twins. Where is the fight going on? You better wait for me.
And Silas is like shaking his arm, trying to wake it up again.
Fair enough.
And then he looks around and notices that there's decidedly less Alara than he would have liked, and decidedly more Mug in this bed, which he somewhat figured out.
Yep. I'll get you to do a perception check.
Perception?
Yep.
Glenn, should I roll anything for looking for a fight?
So, Mug, if you're going to rush out up onto deck, The first thing you're going to notice is that there is a sailor that is rolling around on the deck, clutching his leg.
Oh. Oh, okay, yeah.
And the second thing you'll note is that the person who was on watch when you arrived isn't there, and neither are the twins.
Okay, so Mug runs on deck and is shouting for people, "Where is the fight? Who do I have to beat up?"
In an extremely pained voice, you hear the sailor who's clutching at his leg goes, "Whoever the hell it was that shot me from below decks."
"They're below deck. I will find them and beat them up. They better not start the fight without me." And Mug runs down below deck to look for whoever shot. Yeah, so I think Mug is looking for an intruder or someone who looks like an enemy at this point.
Fair enough.
I don't think he has any idea it was Silas.
So Silas managed to actually shoot perfectly through a gap in the boards above.
Remind me to give him some coin before we leave.
Oh, you're a good captain.
So
This captaining is going well.
Mug, you will run through the ship for a bit, eventually determining that you haven't seen anyone on board that you haven't seen before.
Mug gets very sad. And Mug is now sulking that he wasn't able to find the intruder. They got away.
And Silas, you do spot the letter laying on the floor.
Awesome. I go to pick up the letter.
Fair enough. I presume you're going to read it.
Mm-hmm.
So the letter is clearly from Alara, and signed by her, but it is a rather short one that says, "I must apologize for when you find this and realize that I have already made my way off board, but it appears that mutual enemies of ours have tracked us to Port Marley, and I must escape before they find what I'm carrying."
At least you warned in time. And then I fold the letter carefully, and I go to have breakfast and like meat or whatever we serve with breakfast.
Yep.
When you go out into the hallway, you probably see Haldir like having a head out through a door and looking around like, "Did I hear a gunshot?"
Only a little one.
Oh, hey, Haldir, did you see who attacked? Someone was attacked on deck, and I'm looking for them to beat them up.
No.
I think I saw him run off the ship, so I'm afraid we might not be able to get him.
Damn it, I better run after them now.
Shouldn't we have someone look at the guy that got shot?
Good
I can't do
idea.
that.
You know what? Yeah, we do need someone for that. And then Silas is just gonna look for like the only adult on this ship. Where? Wisp? Wisp?
Whisp has snuck off at this point.
Uh-oh.
So at this point, Mug is like, I can't help with this. I will run and search for the attacker. And he runs down.
Silas will just walk onto the deck and like call out for anyone who has any idea on how to. Oh wait, did the Haldir
Yes,
mention that he can do any healing stuff?
he did. He's
Silas
very
might-
groggy this morning.
Silas might not remember much, so he'll just go, do you by any chance have any like I think you're better at seeing blood than I am, most likely.
I like sighs a bit, like, yeah, I do know a bit. Here, let me take a look.
Thank you. And Silas just looks away because there's blood.
And I'll guess I use a mana point to
Yeah.
heal this poor sailor.
It doesn't seem to be a extremely bad injury. Most of the impact appears to have been taken by timber or something else. At the very least, it looks a lot more like a ricochet than an actual direct
Ha.
shot.
Great. Then I don't even bother healing him. I just look at it like, you'll be fine. Quit your whining.
I like your mentality.
He gives you a sour look and says, "Yeah, I'll be fine, but that's the rudest way to wake up that I've ever felt."
I can imagine. Speaking of waking up, can I like sleep somewhere with a bit more room so I don't wake people up when I practice?
There's plenty of beds all over the ship, but he's the
he-
captain. The sailor just points at Silas.
I'm sure we can find you some space.
That'd be great. Pretty sure people would not be happy with, having to listen to me practice.
It's practicing the songs though, because that was pretty good.
Well, yes, when it's an actual song, when I keep playing the same bit over and over again to get it sounding right, people might, get a bit tired of it. Also, when I practice my magic and, lightning.
That's a good point. Yeah, we'll definitely try and find you a spot that suits you.
Sounds great. Now, where did Mark run off to? Is he all?
Mug's hunting for. Don't. And Silas just lowers his voice a little bit. Don't tell him, but he's hunting for me again.
Silas, why is he hunting you?
Well, the first time it was because he got an assassination contract with my face on it, and this time it was because I shot.
You shot them?
Well, I could choose between my arm dying and shooting, so I shot.
Sounds reasonable. Nice ship, by the way.
Thank you. And realizing that the sailor is still like near us, I grab 5 copper pieces and hand it to the sailor and just go, "Here, get an ale."
He takes it and pockets it, and goes, "Well, I'm up now. I may as well." And then he looks around and goes, "So where's the watch from last night?"
Who was the watch last night?
There was someone to greet us, right?
Yep, there was a sailor that
Oh yeah,
greeted you, and there was a couple others.
Haldir is saying like, there was someone here when we came back, right?
You sure? I don't remember much. How did we get back?
I was riding Mug. No, you were riding Mug, or getting carried by Mug.
Wait, so first I was riding Mug and then I woke up in his arms? Huh.
Nice way to put it. Mug is not there to dispute any of this.
Have a way with words. But yep.
Haldir,
Yes.
do you want to have some fun? I
Uh,
promise you won't fight Mug again.
okay, I'm listening.
So, what I do remember is that we were attacked last night,
Yes.
and our friend is still downstairs, I think. Where did we put him?
I suspect you have some kind of brick.
I think it's time that we go and talk with him.
Sure.
Mm.
I gotta say, getting people to talk is not really my forte. It's usually me talking or singing.
But that's why I have these. And he pulls out like 2 of his pistols, and he just puts them back.
Um, I wanted adventure, so yeah, let's go have a look.
I feel like the only person that would keep silence within like sanity is now gone for a while, so that gives me some. So with that,
So should Mug eventually come back? Or...
Mug, you will can spend as much time as you want running up and down the docks, but it's pretty clear that it would take forever to try and identify anyone amongst the morning crowds.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like eventually he would just give up. Or start a fight with someone else.
Either is a probability. It is a dock front after all.
Should we roll for it to see how it ends up?
You know what? Go for it.
Okay, what should I roll?
Roll a
Is it
communication.
no, like lock? Oh boy. Oh boy. It's okay. It's not a minus skill.
Fair enough. So in the meantime, Wisp has also gone off on a little adventure to try and find information based on the letter that they received the night before. So I would say that slipping off the vessel before most had woken up would have been a perfect opportunity.
Perfect.
And that you've made your way back through, sort of retracing your steps after realizing that there's probably more details you need to find before going to the Shattered Hand Tavern to ask around about the information that was in the letter. Surprisingly, for some, but not so much for you, the tavern is open, even despite it being early morning.
Mm-hmm. So am I just asking about who the fourth is, or where to find them, and stuff like that?
You can ask around, so basically you can spend some time sort of talking to those in the tavern who seem to know what's going on, so those like the barkeep. What I'll do is, can I get a communication roll out of you? And Mug, yes, you've picked a fight with someone. However, since the dockhand that you've picked a fight with is not the strongest person, I would say that you had a great deal of fun pummeling them into the ground before making your way back to ship.
I think Mug feels like he has sorted the problem out.
So Wisp, I'll get a communication roll out of you just to see how talkative people are. Yep. It takes a little bit and sort of the right words here and there, but the barkeep eventually whispers to you in hushed tones that the organization that he works for is broken up into different parts. The fifth, as you might remember, is in charge of Port Marley, but the fourth through to the first are in charge of other syndicates.
All right.
He recommends that the place you should go looking is in Fort Hearth.
Fort Hearth. Yeah, that was on the message. So, is that around here or somewhere else?
He'll tell you that Fort Hearth is a small fortress town that belongs to one of the southern nations called Hathad. It's got a small merchant enclave nearby, and there's a particular place of interest that you'll find there, which is for lack of a better description, tavern very similar to the one that you're in now.
All right. Can I get that in writing? Because I suck at memorizing stuff like that.
That is fine. I will put down the more pertinent details. once I scroll to them on my little cheat sheet. Ah, there we go. So he will tell you to go looking for the owner of the Crescent Moon Inn and Bordello.
Okay. I tip him 10 gold just cause.
Oh wow,
10
10
gold?
gold.
He takes that and grins and goes, "You're welcome back any time, lass."
Fuck.
Isn't 10 gold like crazy amounts of money?
That's a lot of money.
It is quite a lot of money, but then again, this is the criminal syndicate, so they potentially pay their barkeep well.
Well, apparently they do.
Wow.
Well, I do want to be in his favour later on in life, don't I?
Okay, but I was wondering if 10 gold is like something that you could like buy a house with or something, maybe.
Or
Maybe
a
not.
healing potion, but like, yeah.
You could buy some stuff
Okay.
of value. So, to put in perspective, like a box of really expensive spices would be 5 gold. But you could easily buy in a tavern several rounds of, so a full tavern of about 80 patrons, multiple full rounds for 5 gold as well. So
You could rent
Yeah.
rent a house for a week for 20 gold.
Yeah.
Rent an entire
Okay.
house.
So it's a decent amount of
So,
money,
yeah.
but it's not at
Okay,
the
yeah,
obscene
yeah.
level.
Okay.
So Haldir and Silas, you've made your way below decks towards the brig. The first thing, actually, can I get perception checks from both of you?
By the way, if it makes any difference, I'll have my beard out and just the tattoos visible as well.
That's fine.
Is this seeing?
Yeah, perception seeing.
Right.
+3 is a lot, but that's 13 total.
Radio. It's not exactly the hardest thing to miss, but right. Silas, the first thing you notice when you get down to the brig is that whoever has been thrown in it is very, very dead and there's blood everywhere.
Huh. That.
Yeah.
Ah.
Haldir, you will notice that the reason there's blood everywhere is that whoever has killed this person has specifically made a point of making a mess of them and has left a dagger pinning them to the wall of the ship behind them, and
Oh,
next to
wow.
them is a
Nice.
second dagger pinning a note.
Haldir like stops and looks at this mess and is
As you do, Silas passes out.
ah. Well, Haldir like takes Silas's hat and like tries to put it on. Yeah.
You're not very concerned about the captain.
And he like keeps it on his head, walks over, takes out the knife, looks at the note on it.
So the note says two things in a very quick, scratched out message. Nice try, but we don't allow captives. And the next thing underneath that is be at the marketplace at noon if you want to live.
Oh boy.
What time is it again now? Well, first of all, takes off the note, looks at the knife, and just like drops it and walks over and starts trying to haul Silas out of the room. And yells up like, "Hey, someone, help me with this oaf.
So
Listen to a captain."
a pair
And then he
of
laughs.
a pair of sailors approach you that look identical to each other. They both look at you, look at Silas, grin, and say, "He need a wake-up bath."
Haldir just giant grin and like, "Captain's orders, make sure he gets a bath."
Both of them grin back and say, "Aye, aye, Captain," and they'll pick Silas up, take him up on deck, and toss him over the side.
Oh, because he's still wearing the hat, right?
Yep.
Oh man.
So Silas,
The hat
you
is
will be woken
power.
up when you hit the water.
Definitely. Who the what? Spitting out water
Glug.
and then just like tries to climb on the ship again because I'm. Didn't we have like a ladder on the side of the ship as well?
Yeah, you do have ropes down along the hull around the side of the ship that you can make your way up for.
I'll definitely climb up again.
Yep. You will see both the twins grinning at you the entire way with... They are not even hiding the fact that they were the ones that tossed you over.
I'll like try and pick my hat and give him a bow, and then realize that my hat's not there.
Haldir walks over and like puts your hat on, like, "Morning, Captain."
Morning. So I'm all fine with throwing me in the water and such, but my fucking pistols. And he starts like cleaning out his pistols and his rifle.
Oh, because he had all that on as well.
Right.
Luckily,
Yeah.
it's just the gunpowder that I can copy and solve it with. But he'll be there for a while and just go, "Huh? So what the fuck happened there?" And then he's looking straight at Haldir.
Like, "Oh right." Haldir looks over at the twins. Can we get someone to clean up the brig?
They'll look at you and go, "What, he leave a mess down there as well?"
More that we have a body and a lot of blood we need to cleaned up.
They sort of look at each other, frowning. "We'll get some of the crew on it. Blood's a bitch to get out of timber."
Well, just, make sure it doesn't start smelling down there, I guess.
They'll round up a couple of the crew and send them off down the below decks.
Yeah.
Luckily, dried blood is a lot less worse for lot less nauseating for Silas than like fresh blood.
Haldir turns back to Silas and like, "Yeah, so apparently the whole taking prisoners, they don't let people get taken alive, which might mean that our lookouts that people are missing may be floating around in the water somewhere. Oh, and we should be at the marketplace at noon if you want to live."
What time is it now?
"How should I know?"
And Silas just looks up, trying to like get his bearing.
At your best guesstimate, you've probably slept for a bit longer than you normally would, plus all the shenanigans with Mug. It would probably be somewhere between 10:30 and 11.
Is Mug back by this point? Or not yet?
Mug, yeah, you would have made it back by this point.
Okay. Hey everyone, I sorted out the problem. I managed to beat up the person who shot our sailor. It was pretty easy.
Silas just glances at Haldir and goes,
job, Mark. Good job.
Yeah, well done.
Thanks, Haldir. So what should we do today? Anything fun to do?
Yes, I think we should go to the market because I have a feeling you might end up in a fight if we go there.
Oh, really? Let's go. Yeah, let's go to the market. Let's go and fight. Are we going to beat up everyone?
Haldir already perfectly knows how to play Wisp. Play Mug. I love it.
When Marcus like started walking down again, Haldir just looked aside like, I think I'm getting the hang of this.
Silas just smirks and like shoots you a wink, and then goes, "Yeah." So
Mug comes back. Is there food at the market? Because I'm kind of hungry. Should we eat before we fight? I mean, fighting makes me hungry.
it's definitely a good idea to eat before you fight. You don't fight on an empty stomach, do you?
No, not the second time. One time is okay, but
It's
you know,
it's kind of a once per day thing where you fight on an empty
Yeah.
stomach. After that, you just need the fuel.
definitely. So, is there some good grub today?
Silas looks around and goes, "How was breakfast, boys?" To any of the sailors walking past.
One of the sailors looks at you and says, "We'll need to restock on supplies, Captain, because the stuff that they already had on here for food was absolute rubbish."
I guess we'll eat at the market then.
He just
We'll
grins
make
and
sure
says,
to get-
"Good choice."
We'll get some supplies as well.
Well, let's go to the market. Are we missing anyone?
Where's Wisp? Oh,
Well, maybe Wisp is already at the market.
Oh right, she wanted to go to the market, right?
yes. I think so. I
Was
don't...
it the market or some sort of shop? I mean, all the shops are at the market, right?
I can't remember. But let's go to the market. We might find them.
Well,
Sounds
does
good.
the market have any shop?
The market is the place where we shop. That's how it works.
Okay, good. That's fine. Let's go to the market. Are you guys ready for a fight? Twins, you want to come to the market to fight?
They're busy cleaning up a bloody mess.
But wait.
As you
Oh,
say that,
you
one
mean
of
the
them comes
sailor?
and brings said bloody mess up on deck and tosses it over the side.
Oh wait. Was there another fight here that I missed? No
Um,
way.
no. Sad news. Remember the guy
What?
we captured?
Oh yeah, that was pretty fun. Do I
I
get to
wa-
fight him?
I was gonna prepare him so that you could fight him,
Yeah.
and then he was dead.
What?
Severely.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I didn't even kill him. That's no fair.
Haldir, wasn't that where you found out that we need to go to the market? So I think
Yes.
the guy that took your fight will be at the market, Mug.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I will take care of.
Sounds good. But maybe we should just plan this so that you only start fighting when we know it's the correct guy.
But I don't know how I know it's the correct guy.
You know what?
Sounds
If he
difficult.
tries to attack us, you can do whatever you want with him.
Okay,
Or-
if someone attacks us, I beat them up.
Or Mog, you remember the dwarven song I
Yeah.
sang for you?
Oh yeah,
Last night?
that was so good. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
If I start humming that song, you punch the guy we're talking to.
Oh my gosh, that's really clever. That's like a secret sign.
Exactly.
I love it.
Come on, guys, let's go get some food.
Okay,
Let's
I will
continue.
make sure that I go over the plan again while we walk there. Right, so you start humming a song. And if
That
I hear the
song.
song, yes, that song. The one from that song. If you start humming that song, I punch you, was it?
No. The guy we're talking with, or whoever is threatening us. And if
Okay, so do
someone
you ever...
already attacks us, you just go nuts. You just start punching.
Okay, that's... Wait. That's quite complicated. Okay, you know what? You start humming, I start fighting. That's
Yes.
as complicated as this gets.
And Silas just looks at Haldir and goes, "When you start humming, make sure to step back." Mug needs his space when he gets into it.
I did see the hammer.
Yeah.
Oh, Mug will make sure that his pistol... does he have one pistol or two? I can't remember. That his pistol is loaded properly.
Yep.
I
From memory,
believe
it
you
is the
have
one
one
pistol.
at this point.
Yep.
But if you ever
Sorry,
need
one,
another,
yeah.
we might have a trick for that.
Okay, it's okay for now. So he just makes sure it's loaded before the fight.
Yep. So you'll make your way through the morning crowds along the crowded docks. There's obviously a lot more ships in port than there was last time you were here, so there are crews and trade ships aplenty. And you make your way through to the massive bazaar that sort of juts out towards the dock front. Wisp, you will have made your way from the Syndicate Tavern directly there, so cutting through buildings and roads rather than via the dock front itself. So you will find yourself sort of in the more pricier ends of the bazaar with the expensive shops that actually still have buildings rather than just tent coverings and so on. Not too far from where you remember Kin's shop and the blacksmith was. The rest of you will be approaching from the other side where there is largely the large open air stalls with goods out on display, some of them on like rugs on the ground, some of them on temporary stalls and wooden trestle tables and so on. There is obviously, as you remember, a mixture of everything from clothing and weapons and jewelry all the way to food stalls. As you go along, you can smell everything from exotic spices to just cooking meat and vegetables.
Can I go to Kin's shop?
Yep, you can make your way through. As you remember it, it is a rickety building that sort of stands alone. It looks like at one point used to be attached to some of the more wealthier shops that are not too far away. But no one has dared to build any of the temporary bazaar shop fronts or storefronts anywhere near the place, as if they're half expecting it to blow up at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
From what you can see, the door is open, and there is a small amount of smoke coming out of a chimney stack that occasionally changes colour from anything from pink through to purples and then to greens. It doesn't appear to be natural wood smoke as far as you can tell.
Gonna try and go in. Try and mean the word.
Fair enough. You walk on in and you see that, as before, the place was an absolute riot of a mess. There is stuff in all places, from alchemy equipment through to small test tubes and bubbling pots. Up against one wall with the most arcane alchemy set you could ever imagine, with multiple little dripping faucets and various little tubes and devices, you will see the shop owner Kin standing on a very large stool with a stepladder attached to it, just staring and studying whatever he's working on. He's not moving and he's not making a noise.
Oh. I'm gonna somewhat quietly say, "Hi, Ken." Hello. Ken.
He just holds a finger up very quickly and just goes, "One moment." And very, very carefully picks up some powder from a small plate that he's got in one hand and then very gently drops grain by grain as he much as he can into one of the tubes. And then he puts the powder down, steps back, watches this entire contraption for a moment, and then rapidly climbs down the ladder and races up to you and goes, "And how can I help?"
A few things I need if possible. I'm kind of looking for 2 healing potions and 3 sleeping draughts and chocolate if you have it, the kind that kind of covers up taste.
Potions, drafts, those I can get you. The chocolate, however, I recommend there's an awesome chocolatier just down the road there. 3 shops down.
Perfect.
Best chocolate in town. And then he races out the back at high speed.
Oh gosh, and he's away.
You hear a couple of clattering noises and the scraping of what sounds like a wooden stool across the ground, and then he comes back out with a small wooden box with little bits of straw in it, and nestled in are the potion vials. Each of them a small glass, slightly scratched chest tube with a cork stopper in it.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them are labelled with a paper label with a symbol on it. He indicates both of those and goes, "Healing draughts as ordered. The others give you a good sleep."
Perfect. How much do I owe you?
He looks at the healing draughts and goes, 10 silver apiece for these.
Mm-hmm.
And then he looks at the sleeping draughts and goes, 30 for these.
Right. And I'll give him the money for that.
He will collect that all, hand you the box, and then race over. He'll race over to a part of the shop, pull out a little lockbox, and he'll put the money in, and then pull out a key and lock it again, and stash that somewhere on his person before racing back over. Anything else I can help you with?
You do loyalty cards.
He sort of cocks the head to the side and scratches it and goes, "Frankly, never had enough customers to try. May begin."
Oh, so sad. Aw.
He'll smile and just go, "Next time you're in, 10% discount."
Aw. Thank you. Aw. Again, 5-star service.
He just gives you a very rapid bow, goes to sort of grab what might have been a hat off his head before realizing he's not wearing one, and then sort of scratches at his mussed up hair and goes, "Happy to be of service. Always a pleasure."
Aw. See you later.
He gives you a cheerful wave, and then you hear him sort of pull the stool that he was using with the stepladder across again, and he's back up and attending to his strange chemical devices.
Oh.
And sure enough, based on his description, you will see not too far away a confectionery shop that has set up some tables outside, but has big glass windows that you can see well-dressed people looking through.
Ooh. I'm going to go in and see if I can get like a chocolate bar.
Yep. You'll find that there's quite a crowd. Some of the more wealthier inhabitants of town appear to be queuing to get in to get tables. Seeing through the shop, you see that further out the back there's actually a outdoor garden area, and there are very well dressed sort of wait staff of all shapes and sizes serving and tending to tables. Up the front is a bunch of tables and cabinets that have been set up to display goods, and you see sweets of all sorts and sizes, and there are very carefully wrapped boxes of chocolates.
Is there like actual bars though, rather than like individual chocolates?
Not on the front displays. but further up in the back of the shop, you do see that there are sort of larger bulk order supplies of chocolates that appear to be either in bar format or in large blocks that can be broken apart.
I take 2 bars, or do I need to ask? Or
You will be able to attract the attention of one of the waiters who will turn around and smile and go, "Ah, the bars of chocolate, they do sell quite well. They're a silver apiece."
ooh, I'll have 2, please. Milk chocolate.
Good choice, good choice. And they will take a little bit of time, but they will bring those out to you. They'll be all wrapped up and in their own individual special bags that have been pinned sealed.
Merci beaucoup.
They'll bow and hurry about their business.
And that's me pretty much on my little shopping adventure. So
So the rest will make their way in through the other side of the markets. Assuming they don't get distracted by any of the food along the way.
Which we will.
I think Mug will get
Decidedly.
distracted by food. Yeah.
Silas is hungry.
So
Yeah, Mug is also hungry. He
So
had the
is
fight
Haldir,
already.
so.
you make your way through and eventually find that there is a stall that's been set up where a elf with long grey hair tied back is cooking up the most amazing smelling noodle dish.
Hey, give me some food. I want to try that. That smells good.
He smiles and goes, it's a delicacy from my homeland, but I'm glad you are a person of culture and taste."
Yeah, I don't care what it's called. I want to eat it.
It's best eaten hot. Here, you will like this. And he will serve up a bowl and he will look at the rest of you and go, "Would you also like to partake?"
Very much.
Yeah, 2 more bowls coming up. So he'll pour these noodles into a bowl, then drizzle broth over the top, and then throw red flakes. And he goes, "It's extremely spicy, but it is extremely potent. It is a beautiful meal.
Oh.
Enjoy."
How does it taste? Taste?
It's a very spicy.
No, wait. Actually, you know what? Mug is very hungry, and it smelled good. So can I roll to see if I can just inhale the whole thing and
Oh
gulp it
yeah,
down?
just do it.
In
Just
one
do a
go.
constitution. Straight constitution on that.
I think that's a reasonable way of handling this. It's not anything that I can add stuff to, just Constitution.
Just constitution, which
Okay.
frankly should be fine.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Yeah, you inhale this extremely quickly and don't even break a sweat.
Yeah, second one. I'm still hungry.
The chef looks absolutely thrilled and pops another full bowl down in front of you. Eat as much as you like, only 5 coppers apiece.
That's good. Yeah. I don't know how is the portion size, but I guess yeah, Mug will need at least 2 bowls.
I'd say that the portion sizes are not the biggest portion sizes. Most of the people seem to be having 1 bowl. You do see the occasional human having 2. But every now and again you do see someone who's either coming from what appears to be a late work shift coming and just straight up grabbing two and walking off with them and sculling the first just like you are.
Yeah. Okay. I think Mug should have at least 3. How much it was per bow? Just so I can subtract it.
It was off the top of my head. I said 5
Copper.
copper. Yeah, 5 coppers per ball.
Okay. Okay. So that's 15 coppers total, and 10 copper is a silver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Three. I hate math.
It's all right. And yet here we are doing an RPG.
I will calculate it. It's okay. I will calculate it. Yeah.
It's
So,
no
so
problem.
Mug is going to inhale 3 bowls of this stuff because it tastes good, isn't it?
It is probably up in the tastier end of anything that you've eaten for quite some time.
Yeah.
So, while you are all sitting and eating, I will say that this is a perfect opportunity for a particular other person to be wandering around this same area, having just arrived in town. I would also say that for all 4 of you that are currently there, can I get a perception seeing check?
Perception seeing.
Yep. And that includes our newcomer.
Boy.
Oh. Oh wow. Mug might notice something.
That would be a first.
No, that also happened with the little girl.
It will be just like the
Yeah.
magic doors again, which will be freaking hilarious.
But no, it's not as great as the other people, but he might actually spot this.
So,
Okay, so that's total. Yeah, so it's almost as good as Silas.
yeah, so what I'll say is, Haldir, you don't actually notice this, but Silas, you've already finished your meal while you're waiting for Mug to finish his third.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking around. Our newcomer, you will
Can't
see this
actually
because
count
you're
it.
wandering through this bazaar, looking at everything
Sorry.
around you. And Mug, you will also see.
Yay.
I'm busy enjoying my meal.
A figure in robes steps clean out of the shadows.
You
having
eat
not been there
slowly,
before,
Haldir.
and walks across to Silas from behind.
I noticed this, right?
You all notice this. You also notice that it was the use of magic that allowed them to do that. There was no doorway, no nothing near the shadows. They've literally stepped out of the shadows as if they've stepped out from a cloak.
I'm
Oh
gonna
wow,
turn
look at
around
that guy.
immediately.
And Mug is going to like hit Haldir in the shoulder and like, Haldir, look, there's another guy who can do magic.
The figure is not one that you've seen before, but Silas, having a good look at them, you recognize that your family crest is on a brooch that is resting at the neck of their cloak. They are a middle-aged human man with greying beard that you don't know personally, but by the look of them, you would definitely believe that they're in service to a house that you're very, very familiar with. He gives you a almost sarcastic smile and says, "Well, I'm glad you decided to be quite reasonable about this. let's just say that a change of circumstances has occurred, and we have an offer that I don't believe that you can refuse.
I am very
Ho- ho-
curious.
ho- Haldir, are you humming yet?
Not yet, Mark. Not yet.
But I will start humming soon.
Yeah. Let the bastard talk for a bit first. I might start humming any minute now.
So,
Good.
your offer?
The offer's a simple one. It appears an acquaintance of yours has an item, a very important item, that they have made off with. And quite frankly, your father wants it. He will graciously leave you to do as you please as long as you don't set foot in House Begatel. If you return the key of water to him.
Return it to him? That would mean he's had it before and he's been careless with it. Suits his
Oh,
style.
wait. You're talking about the bastard's father, the one who wanted to kill him.
Of course. Quite frankly, we see it as an even exchange.
An even exchange?
You give us the key, and the assassins, having to constantly look over your shoulder, will cease.
I really feel like
Well-
he has been looking very much over his shoulder so far. I mean, he did get shot anyway, so.
Wait. If you do what they tell you, does that mean there will be less people to fight?
Not necessarily. We'll have to
Okay.
we'll have to see how we can play this.
Very wise decision, my friend. It seems that House DuPont has managed to get their hands on the item. Make sure that it doesn't return to that house.
So what exactly is it that it does?
The key? That's of little importance.
A captain knows what the gear on the ship does.
Well, you're not that great a captain, since as far as our information is concerned, it was on your ship the entire time.
It was not on my ship. Well, it's been for the last leg of the journey, but it's been on my Commodore ship for most of our adventures.
Semantics at best.
What are we talking about? There's a key somewhere?
I'll get the crayons and explain it later, Mug.
Oh man, are we not going to fight? Haldir, you said there's going to be a fight at the market.
So
There might still be Mug. There might still be.
he smiles at Mug and goes, I might be able to assist without the use of crayons. And he pulls out a piece of paper and holds it up and unfolds it. On it is a depiction of an item that, Mug, you have seen up close and personal before, because it was on the necklace that Alara put around her neck and was in the box that you opened.
Oh, that's Alara's.
I'm glad that you were able to confirm that. And then he turns to you, Salis, and goes, the key for your life. It's as simple as that.
Wait, we sold the box. Are you sure you're not looking for the box? The box was worth a lot.
Ah, so that was your little red herring idea. And then he turns to you, Salis, and goes, you have 2
What?
weeks. And with that, he turns and walks towards the shadows.
Wait, no, wait! I wanted to fight. Someone start
Can I just
humming
before he
now.
reaches? Can I like spit at him?
You can do.
I'll spit at him.
I don't care about humming anymore.
He doesn't seem to notice the spit, and as he steps in, he stops and goes,
Wait, sound cut out there entirely.
Yep.
hopefully you can hear it now.
Yeah.
Yep.
He doesn't hear you spit, but he does cock his head slightly and says, "You have but 2 weeks to track down that key. Return it here to the embassy."
Can you do me one favor before you leave?
He will turn and look at
Fight
you.
me!
How did Father like my gift?
He gives you the slyest of smiles and goes, "Oh, you caused quite a stir at the house banquet.
Perfect.
I believe that it won't go unnoticed for quite some time." And with that, he steps into the shadows and vanishes.
Haldir, you lied to me.
Well,
You
we
better
haven't
make up for that.
we haven't left the market yet, have we?
Okay, then you better fight me.
No, he didn't have to
Uh,
fight you. We're gonna find you a new person to fight.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I didn't even realize that. Sorry.
So, while this entire conversation has been going on between you and this figure who stepped out of shadows, the shopkeep who was providing the food and many of the other people in the nearby shops have quickly packed down various things and vanished.
Huh.
They're clever people, unlike some of us.
Was that self-reflection from Mug?
I'm not entirely sure. It might have been.
Huh. Well, with that over, what's the plan next? Because I think this might be what your information meant.
I think it was. So, who are these people we need to get the key from if we're doing that thing, or are
so
we
y-
just not gonna do that, Silas?
So you
Wait,
haven't
wait.
seen her. That's
Silas,
true.
I have an idea.
What's your
How
idea?
about... Yes, yeah. How about I beat up your father?
That could be a plan. I'd quite like to see that.
Actually, you should tell us about your father, because I don't remember if you told us about him. Like, he sounds like a bastard like you. Are you a son of a bastard as well as a bastard?
Something like that. I'll
Yeah, the
explain back on
bastard
the
son
ship.
of a bastard.
A whole family
Good.
of bastards.
I come from a long line of bastards. No, I'll explain back on the ship, okay?
Okay. Oops. Sorry.
And with that, I turn around and I look around and see that pretty much the entire market is now also empty. For the most part, all of the shopkeepers are gone, and I'm like, huh. Well, I guess Father's lackeys always favored some dramatics and some showmanship.
But just before we're going all the way back to the ship, does this mean we're gonna like leave port anytime soon?
I think it does.
Okay. Should we look for some more people? I think we might have lost a lookout and whoever else. Was
yeah,
there-
and we already were slightly short-staffed.
Okay. You know what?
Yeah, maybe we should find some people.
I have a great idea.
Hmm?
Since there's so much room here now, why don't we just like get people to come here if they want to fly with the glorious Captain Silas?
Ah,
Yeah,
now that's an
and
idea.
we can test them, you know.
Exactly,
pit.
Mog. And that's the way
Yeah,
you still get to fight, right?
It works.
yeah. That sounds like a plan to me.
Haldir like
Whisp.
jumps up on a table and starts yelling out, "Come, everyone who thirsts for adventure! Captain Silas is looking for crew!"
Why do I know that voice?
There's some
Oh,
hungover
no.
memories in the back of your head.
What's going on?
We're hiding.
Oh, hi, Wisp.
Hello.
Yeah. So who's up for a fight? Come on, people. I will give you the best fight of your life.
Are you the reason the market got cleaned out?
No,
Go!
no. Oh, well,
Oh my goodness, are you for real?
I guess technically.
Really?
I mean, we weren't the people that cleared out the market. The person that came to talk to us was the reason they cleared out the market.
Oh, you are the only people here.
Yeah, we are now, but Father's lackey has gone.
Who?
My father's servants. One of them came to visit.
Did you get attacked again?
No. We
Do
decided
you
we
see
did not fight.
any scratches on Mog? Oh,
What?
sorry,
There's no
any more
fight yet.
scratches than usual? See, he hasn't been in a fight yet, so no.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Why are not all the people
I-
lining up?
I am just gonna, if that's okay, I want to roll like a stealth
Yep.
to see if you notice that I'm blatantly standing there and staring at you from like behind like the corner, like very like
Yep.
kind of obvious,
Mhm.
but also like obviously trying to hide.
Or
Roll for it.
should be roll perception as well.
Anyone that's sort of actively looking around can roll a perception.
I'm definitely looking for someone to hire.
To be fair, Silas is also looking around to hire and like to show Wisp that there's no fight. He's also pointing out random spots around him, going, "There was no fight here or here."
My god.
Over there, or
Oh,
over there.
that's a good roll.
So, Haldir, you're definitely going to see, and you're going to see the closest person to you is sort of half hiding behind a stall and sort of staring at you all intently. Mug, you completely missed this. You're looking
no.
up and down the street, and you see that the closest people are at stalls that are still operating, but they're now 6 or 7 shops down. It looks like everyone in the general vicinity cleared out at once as if they knew trouble was coming.
There always is when we're near. It's kind of our
Hal-
trademark.
Haldir jumps down from the table and starts to walk over towards the person skulking. And you're like, you seem like the perfect fit for a crew. Come over here.
Me, that's not quite. Huh?
Yes, exactly you. And Haldir like puts his arm around the person and drags in front of the rest of the crew.
When you put your arms around her, you can see. By the way, you see human with dark brown hair and dark eyes. Looks kind of pale, but it might be because it looks the kind of pale that looks like they haven't seen the sun much, rather than that she's naturally very pale. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And what sort of build does she have?
She's quite slight, about medium height. Doesn't look strong.
Oh no.
So when you're holding around her, you can feel a little bit of muscle. She's wearing what looks like to
Okay.
be kind of an assortment of mismatched clothing, the kind of that she might have taken a pair of pants here, a jacket there, that kind of thing, without actually having bought something for herself.
Mm-hmm.
And as you take your hand around her, you can see that she stiffens up, like a board stiffens up.
Haldir just
so-
gives
so-
a warm smile and like, come on!
You
You're the
can't.
closest
you
one
can't-
here. You haven't run away, which means you're interested in joining our crew, aren't you?
When
What?
Mug is like as soon as oh sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
As soon as Mug sees her, he's like, Haldir, what are you talking about? She looks weak. That fight is going to be over like so soon. And,
The
and for
fight? I
context,
don't want to fight anybody.
and this is how Mug looks, roughly.
Yeah, that's not gonna be much of a fight.
Well, you know what, Mark? Instead of a fight, let's see how hard she can punch you. If you
I
can
mean,
feel
that's a
it,
fight.
that means she's at least strong enough to join the crew.
Yeah, if I can feel it, I can punch her as well, right?
Loving the logic.
Is this common? Is this how people?
Oh, don't worry. I had to go through the same thing when I joined the crew.
Doesn't look like it's like calming her down in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, look here, girl. If you survive, you are cut out to be part of the crew. If you don't, then you don't need to join.
Haldir
It's
leans in
okay.
and like, just play along. He has had a rough couple of days. Okay, I'll make sure you're fine.
Don't want to fight anybody. I don't want to fight anybody. Please don't make me fight anybody. I don't want to.
But you're here. Don't you want to join the crew?
No,
Of
I'm
this
here because of
mighty
the
silence.
magical decoder.
The magical what?
Magical decoder.
What?
Magical
The what?
decoder?
The amulet.
What's
Um,
what?
does Haldir know anything about something like that? Glenn.
The only thing that comes to mind when she's saying this is the picture that you were shown by the mage.
The key.
Mm.
So the way it looked was kind of like an amulet with symbols and runes around the outside, but bits that would twist and turn, like circles on each other.
Okay, girl. I don't understand what you are saying, but all you have to do is impress us and show what you can do. So if you can like convince other people to fight, that's good.
That's
So-
pretty much
Or
all
if
you get from her.
Okay, so hi, my name is Haldir, and your name is
Verity.
Verity. Pleasure meeting you. So
Can
You're-
you stop touching me now? Is this?
oh, sure, no problem. And it takes the arm over him, but still like standing right in front of her.
yeah, Haldir, you better not stop. You better not start fighting before I do.
Oh, definitely not. Don't you worry about that. If I want to be in a fight, I want you to be there as well.
Good.
So,
because I want to be the first one who grapples.
okay. So, Verity, you said something about a magical decoder.
You can see that she kind of like eyes her bag and then goes back and it looked fancy, so I mean, I didn't. I should probably not have. I should probably have minded my own business.
Hey, that's a sentence I say all the time as well. See, you fit right in.
It
My name's
Whoa.
Silas, and he takes off
fancy.
his fancy hat and makes a bow.
In response, she does a kind of curtsy that you haven't seen before.
I don't know what that means. So does that mean that I don't get to fight? Haldir, does that mean you were lying to me? You said this person wanted to fight.
I thought they wanted to fight you, but they wouldn't. So, you know what, Mark? Because I couldn't find anyone to fight you, you get to punch Silas.
Well, that sounds fair to me.
Oi!
Verity looks at you and like makes a mental note of what to say.
That's what you get for not stepping in.
Okay, Silas, come here. Give me a good fight.
No, we were talking about one punch.
Well, I mean, one punch may lead to more than one punch, if you know what I mean.
A second punch will lead to gunfire.
One punch is not that much. Okay, Haldir, you know what? I get to punch Silas, and I get to punch you as well, since you
Deal.
were wrong.
Deal.
You know what, Mark?
Good punches.
What if I instead play you that dwarven drinking song?
Ooh.
Oh man, this is a difficult trade.
You know what? We'll do the drinking song and the punching Haldir, and then we'll call it a day.
No.
Okay, that
Punching
sounds good to me.
Silas and I play the song.
Okay, this sounds
Verity will like
complicated.
walk
You know what?
over.
I'm getting thirsty. Let's go grab a drink and then we'll figure it out from there.
Verity will walk over to Wisp, and kind of, do they always exist?
You know, funnily
Uh.
enough, Haldir said that as well, and the answer is yes, unfortunately.
Right. Hi, I'm Verity, and she'll do the same kind of curtsy.
Hi, Verity, I'm Wisp. Apparently the sanest, apparently. Well, there's much to go around.
There's more space out here, Haldir. Let's just do it here.
But we don't have drinks here.
And there's a
Yes,
fighting ring at the tavern.
No, you know,
Fighting
I
ring?
get very thirsty after fighting, so let's fight now. And you know what? Everything seems complicated, so how about I punch the both of you, and then you sing the song?
Last one to the tavern has to buy drinks for everyone.
Haldir starts running
3,
towards the
2,
tavern.
1,
Silas
go!
just starts dashing off.
Okay. Oh, this is a competition. I will
Yeah.
win this. So are we rolling to see who's the last one?
Glenn?
Glenn?